Experimentation is where it all starts.
Award-winning composer Jesper Kyd, best known for creating the iconic scores for Assassin's Creed, Hitman, and the Vermintide series, is currently working on the much-anticipated Warhammer 40k Darktide. We sat down with him to get a glimpse of how he goes about creating the unique and atmospheric soundtracks he's known for.
As you know, when we started working on the score, one of the first things I was told was the environments are, giant industrial environments that are, machines that the inhabitants of this city has forgotten how really works. Mm. So these machines are looked at as kind of mystic to them, almost. So this idea of living machines had to be reflected in the score.
What is the process involved when you're creating something on such a huge scale like this?
Experimentation is where it all starts, finding the sound of the living environments was where I spent a lot of time. And what I did was I worked with vintage analog synthesizers.
Oh wow!
Because those have some really unpredictable qualities to it, and some of them are like 40 years old, so they kind of sound a little bit wrong, and they don't sound like they're fresh out of the box.
Jesper, what makes a score like Darktide effective?
As the game, moves along, you are kicking ass for the Empire.
Right.
So that needed to be reflected in the score. And so not only is all the music for the environments, there's also the hero journey where the Empire had to come out in full effect on the score.
What was it about the Darktide soundtrack that challenged you?
Definitely combining all these different styles and making it a coherent sound. Having a more industrialized sound to it, and then combining that with choirs.
How is composing for a shooter different than some of the other genres that you've composed for?
Yeah, composing for a shooter, you definitely, obviously it has to be adrenaline-fueled music.
Right.
You have to have music for the boss encounters, for the horde encounters, and the music has to really adapt immediately. You don't have, a minute to set the mood as you climb over a mountain or something. It has to be immediate.
I can't imagine a composer, and maybe people that are watching this don't know, but you're a gamer. That's where you started. So it's like you are invested in some of these characters. You know the Skaven. Do you think that helps you?
I think it helps me a lot. I know that you can argue the point that it doesn't matter perhaps, but for me it matters. In answer to your question, I do think it helps me a lot because I'm always thinking about what would, as a gamer, be the most awesome thing that would happen right now, musically. And that's often, for me, in my experience, doing the opposite of what people think.
Oh, wow.
So when you surprise people, that's when something really powerful can happen inside your gaming experience. I don't always have the answer when of what I want the music to sound like. There's a lot of experimentation going on, but I definitely know that I've found it when the emotion starts to happen. That always has to be there.